Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. This is Dan Anderson wishing you welcome on this global associate webinar, our GAM as we call them. For those of you who are new, this is the pulse beat of Leo. This is something that we run once a week for the last 7 years, and we've missed, I think, about 2. So we have a very, very good track record of staying in touch with our field and staying in touch and being transparent and showing you what's going on and sharing with you the latest updates, etc. Now, the agenda today is 7 points on your screen there, but I also want to start the call by wishing you all a very happy birthday. According to the Chinese New Year, we are in the 7th day of the new year, and on the 7th day, according to the legends over there, a goddess created on day 1 the rooster, and on day 2 something else, and on day 3 something else, and on day 7 created humankind. So therefore, happy birthday to all of you. Now, it is interesting that we get 2 New Year's Eves in quick succession at the beginning of every calendar year, the real one on the 31st of January, and the Chinese New Year. And I quite like that because it gives us 2 bites at the cherry, if you like, and gets us a chance to sort of taste off on where we are. I've done the webinar to our Chinese speaking community and welcomed them kind of back into the business after their celebrations and what have you. And I promised them, and I'm promising you, that next Monday we are going to do a fairly major webinar. There's a lot of loose ends that I want to tie up. This is especially relevant to some of our older Leo members, but there's kind of questions that come up in terms of different projects that we've done in the past, and I want to sort of wrap up these things and take them forward. So we have things like day 7, we have Leo Crowd, we have the Leo Banking, what about that? And of course, what we also want to do next Monday is talk to you about the Leo Coin 3, and in particular next Monday, I want to share with you the new merchant program and the concept behind that and what we're going to do there. And I think that you'll understand exactly why we're so buoyant about Leo Coin 3 when we sort of share that with you. So all good. About next Monday is a big one, and you should promote that amongst your teams, and we'll make that very, very much worth your while. But broadly speaking, the business on a global level is doing fantastically. We have Mr. John Abraham in India sweeping and building a solid foundation over there. I don't know quite what they're doing there. It looks like a new Leo coin or a Leo sign or something. I can kind of see the L and I can see the E. Not quite sure if I can see the O anywhere there, but that's very creative, and all power to them. Also had a very, very cool event, a training event for delegates, 136, Rise and Shine training, delivered by Mohammed Salim, our National Marketing Director. And I love the trainings that we do, because this is our product, and this is what our business is all about, and all power to Mohammed Salim for leading the charge on that. Now, the other thing that I want to just briefly share with you now, and again, major update next Monday, is on the Leo Child Education Packs. I'm getting so much positive feedback about that, and so many people reaching out to me and saying that they are very inspired by this social entrepreneurship initiative, and how we can use 2 disparate ideas of direct selling and fundraising to do something meaningful and big for charity. And I'm just very, very excited by that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that next Monday. And the initial ground that this is going into is very fertile indeed, and I'm 100% convinced that this is going to be the biggest thing over the next 7 years as we go forward, because there's something huge about doing good business, and there's something huge about a business that does good at the same time. And I think all of our markets have reached out to me and said, I've got projects, I've got people, I've got things that I want to do. could my product go here? And there's a lot of updates that will come your way next Monday. Also connected to Leo Charity, we had Thomas Fokker came over to the Leo UK offices and made a donation to Camilla Hartvig for the Leo Charity. And they have an initiative where they're selling Leo merchandising, and for every pound or euro spent on that, 10% goes into the Leo Charity donation box, if you like. And again, the German team were also sponsoring the Leo Finance team on their 58K Jurassic Coast Challenge in June. This is kind of, we've got a whole new context, and we've got a whole new feeling in the business now that we've started to talk about doing good work. So very, very excited about that. And thank you, Team Germany, and thank you, Thomas, for taking that initiative all on your own and driving that forward. Now, the South Africa 2nd of March event is just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I think that we're looking at a 2,000 people event now, or maybe it was 1,500. Maybe I'm getting a little bit too excited there. But huge, bigger. MeHero has made a solid commitment to come. And so we'll be having a Digital Currency Foundation Day. We'll have Andy Hansen, personal development trainer, second to none, who've trained with some of the big people in the world. He was actually a personal associate and friend of Zig Ziglar back in the day, and he knows lots of the big names in the personal development arena. So when you meet him for the first time, he will be very, very impressive for all of you people in South Africa. So good for you. Now, the Momentum Tour 2019, I've got some fairly big announcements to make on this as well. The South African business and we have now extended that, and we found some other seats, and we found some other things that we can do on the events there to make sure that everyone will get a participating in this. So for those of you who noted that the banner wasn't coming up on your back office as if you hadn't qualified, that was because we went up against this limit that we had set. We've now moved the limit, so give it a couple of days. There was a bit of a coding issue on making the display working in back offices, but everyone who qualifies for the Momentum Tour will get the Momentum Tour and the conferences there. So rest assured of that. We've also got an announcement on the date now to the 28th of February, and that's it. It will not be extended beyond that because we've just gone through too many people qualifying. It's absolutely crazy. So this is building big momentum all across the world, and very, very cool to see. So fantastic. Get yourself motivated, educated, inspired, and recognized at the Momentum 2019 events. So the executive trip, end of March for the qualification of that. The numbers there are starting to look quite extraordinary as well. So this is also a game changer, but I'm not going to talk about that and dilute the thunder, but make sure that you qualify for the end of March there, but of course focus on the Momentum Tour because that's the deadline coming up quickest. Now, the other thing that I'm insanely proud about is this thing here. This was something that made the news and got syndicated last week all across Pakistan media. Direct selling and network marketing bill. Well, what does that mean? Well, Pakistan, like many countries, have had this unfortunate situation that direct selling and network marketing or multi-level marketing was not defined properly in law. And that means that for a country, this is quite a problem, because if you don't define what good looks like, what legal looks like, then you open yourself up to have scams coming in and pretending to be a legitimate business. And they talk about that they are a direct selling company, that they're a multi-level marketing company, that they're a network marketing company. And they kind of on the surface appear to be, but underneath it's kind of oftentimes just an investment scam or some sort of Ponzi scheme or others. And every single person on this call probably have come across this in your countries. We probably have 30 countries on this call now, and there wouldn't be one of them that have not had their fair share of hanky-panky nonsense scams coming in and raping and pillaging and stealing from the people. So what we did was we helped the DSAP, the Direct Selling Association in Pakistan, to draft up a bill to present to Parliament. And what was very cool about this story was that this is something that we obviously do with pleasure, and as one of the members of the DSAP, this is something that we're very, very proud of. And we were able to then help them draft and fund the creation of a new bill to legitimize and make the legal framework for how direct selling should work in Pakistan. And what was very, very interesting was that Mr. Magre, Liaquat Magre, he was attending a Who's Who conference in Karachi, and the award was presented to him by the minister, the federal minister for Law and Justice, I think is his title, and he was presented this Who's Who award on stage. And then as he flew home the same evening, hauntingly, by sheer coincidence, he was sat next to the person who just a few hours ago had given him the award. And this was the person that Liaquat Magre spoke to about presenting the bill to. And a few days later, Liaquat, together with Mr. Rashid Alam, the patron-in-chief of the DSAP, and Kamran Guri and Waqar Suhail of our company, presented this in Islamabad to the law minister himself. And so this has got picked up by the media, and it's a very important step, because this is the first step towards creating the legislation for the business model that we are all engaged with and we're all so proud of. So all power to the Pakistan Minister for Law and Justice, to Liaquat Magre, to Rashid Alam, to Waqar Suhail and Kamran Guri for making this happen. And as the CEO of Leo, I'm incredibly proud that we were able to support this and help that make this happen as well. Now, the other thing that we have is some fantastic new PR on a website called Noobpreneur, which I think is quite cute. It was talking about teamwork and how to build teams, how to be successful as an entrepreneur in terms of how you work and develop people. And of course, they referenced Leo, and they referenced the Leo system. So we're getting chocolate, and we're getting recognition in PR terms for a company that drives communication, that sees the big picture, that shares knowledge. And fundamentally, one of the key things here is to be nice and acknowledge the people when they're doing well, and basically it's being a positive force in business. And I think this is very, very cool. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you go to noobpreneur.com, you'll find the article, and you can print it out and use that in your presentations. Leocoin 3 just had an update earlier today, looking very, very good, on track, although we are slightly behind schedule. Fine. There's, in the history of IT development, there's not many IT development projects that actually were delivered on time, and Leocoin 3 is no different. We are absolutely committed to not launching it until it's ready, because we don't want to have something that we launch and then that it breaks or causes problems. So we want to be sure that the developers, despite setbacks and despite some things that happened before Christmas, even with the Ethereum platform, we just wanted to make sure that there weren't any things or security breaches that could be exploited, because the responsibility that we have to sort of support this is to make sure that it's done to support the community in the right way. But having said that, we are still very much on track with the creation of everything in terms of the website for the swap. Me here talked to you about that last week. We're doing all of the marketing collateral and training collateral around it. All of that's going to be launched. And what we want to do next Monday, this is another reason for why next Monday's webinar is an important one for you to promote, is we want to talk about the new merchant program. For some of our old members, you know what this could mean, but in other words, we want to incentivize our digital currency community around LeoCoin to go out and add merchants onto the LeoCoin platform, because the more uses we have for LeoCoin, one, our members are very happy because they can use their LeoCoin for something, and that just adds automatic value. But the more we build the ecosystem and add to the economy, the more we add user cases, the more we can talk about how many outlets are accepting LeoCoin, the better it is for the overall value proposition. And so the merchant program is something where we combine the power of direct selling and our network and our community to incentivize them to go out and add merchants. Now, for those of you who were here in 2014 and 15, we did a Leo merchant program then that was a little bit before its time. We weren't ready, but the power of the network was such that we added something like 30,000 merchants in a very, very quick time frame. There were some people who cheated and kind of created fake merchants, what have you, but we've learned from that. And what we now know is that the power of our merchant program through the community and through the direct selling mechanism, in other words, we can incentivize, we can motivate, we can train people on how to add a merchant. So if you have a bicycle repair shop in your local community, where there are some Leo members, the Leo members can use their LeoCoin to go to the bicycle repair shop. You have a restaurant, you have a cafe, you have all of these kind of SMEs or small businesses, and you can go and knock on the door and get them to put up the sign of saying LeoCoin accepted here, giving them an easy method for that. We're building the LeoCoin 3 to be prepared for this, so that the wallets that are created for these merchants have information that's passed on to the blockchain. And so what we want to be able to do is create an absolutely unique program where you will get a small sales commission on anything that happens on a merchant that you recruit into the LeoCoin ecosystem. In other words, if you go up and sign up an uncle who has a shop or a restaurant or a cafe or a bicycle repair shop down the road, and in the future, anything that he puts through his wallet, then you can get a small percentage of what business is done there. So this is something that we know is a hyper, it's kind of something that is so attractive to the network, because one, it builds an ecosystem where merchants are added. Two, it gives you a direct benefit. And three, it gives you a reason to stay in touch and look after the merchant and make sure that he is well served. If he has any issues, you can support him. And this gives something to the merchant that adds value to him as well. And we can only do this because we have the LeoCoin 3 upgrade around the corner, where some of the technology that is behind this merchant program is available in blockchain terms and wallet terms. So that's quite cool. So next Monday, we'll be talking about that, and make sure that you are here and promote that amongst your teams. Now, the Platinum Incentive, as you know, the Platinum Incentive used to be 8,000 or 4,000 on this side and 4,000 on that side. Now we had an incentive where we dropped that down to 2,000. We looked at that and we looked at the numbers and we thought, oh, can't quite carry on supporting this. So we gave you advance warning last Monday, and this means that come Wednesday, the amount will go up, and that's all I'll say about that. There is a little bit of a negotiation going on with some leaders speaking to us and saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. We have to do that because our fundamental responsibility is to support the long term of our business, and that means that sometimes we have to eat medicine that is not necessarily sweet. But the responsibility that we on the executive team and on the board have for the business is that we do the right things for the long term, always. because the most important thing for you building in the field is that you have a business that's here today and here tomorrow as well, because we don't want to go through any sort of many of you have bad experiences where a company that you believed in no longer is here today, and the heartache of that is horrendous. So Wednesday is changing. We'll be sending out full communications about this before Wednesday, but it means that for those of you who are close to qualifying for Platinum, get it done, because from Wednesday it's going to go up and become just that little bit harder to do, and that's all I'll say about that. The same on the rank incentive. This is something that will end. The bronze, silver and gold rank awards. We've already launched a trial in one particular product set in one particular region, but the bronze, silver and gold rank awards will change, because the position that you have now is very advantageous and very attractive, and all power to you. This is what we want to do by an incentive, but it will change as well, and I'm not going to give you the hard and fast date on that, but it's sooner rather than later. So finally, the call to action is always use what you have. The reason that a car's windscreen is much bigger than its rear view mirror is that you're moving in the direction forward, and so therefore you have to have the maximum visibility looking forward. You can't be looking at the past and crying about spilt milk and spilt opportunities and why is this happening, why is that happening. The rear view mirror is small for a reason, because you need to focus on your future. Therefore, focus on the things that we have, not on the things that will come too far in the future. Focus on the next deadline, which is the momentum incentive running out at the 28th of February. Then focus on the 31st of March. If you focus successfully on the momentum, you will automatically qualify people in your teams to executive, and that's how you build these businesses. So the Platinum rank at 4,000 will drop, or rather will increase, and again, that's just this coming Wednesday. So anyone who's close, make sure you get it done. So the next meeting is on the 18th of February. This is the big one, because this is when we're talking about what we're doing in 2019 to build momentum, what we'll be doing in 2020 and 21 as we go forward. We are brave enough as an organization, and we have in our DNA the courage to reinvent ourselves all the time, because we're always moving with the markets. We're always looking at the dynamism of running a global business. That means that by necessity, we have to change and adopt our stance and our programs to what's going on in the markets. And we've been successful doing that now for 7 years, and we intend to be successful doing that for another 70 years, inshallah, as they say. So I thank you very much for your kind attention, and that's all I wanted to share with you really today. Having said that, I'm very, very excited about some of the things that we're going to talk to you about next Monday. So I look forward to seeing you on the 18th of February. But in the meanwhile, enjoy your birthday that you share with every human being in the world today, like you can share the business opportunity with Leo with every human being in the world today. We are a business that knows no borders, we know no boundaries, and we're multicultural and incredibly proud of building a business that is inclusive for everyone, no matter age, sex, color, creed. We believe in entrepreneurship, and we believe in the good that doing business can do for people and for the world by working together as one family, as one network. This is Dan Anderson saying thank you very much indeed, and look forward to speaking to you next week.